interesting race. We'll see how this one goes, though.
Yeah, hi guys.
All right,
I
Bagels.
am expecting absolute carnage. Obviously, a street circuit, obviously like Monaco, like Baku, as you mentioned as well. It's very unforgiving, and we will definitely see carbon fiber flying absolutely everywhere, and that should be quite exciting. So perhaps qualifying P1 is very important here to get that nice launch and get out of that potential carnage that will occur from the midfield and so forth.
Yeah, and actually we do have our first person coming through Sector 2 here with their hot lap. Currently in place 17, FST Issy is in the AlphaTauri. And he is coming down the big straight on the back end here. Braking hard into that hairpin. Really good turn in and a good exit. That'll give him a lot of speed through there. I believe he has a valid lap right now, so he's probably going to put up the hot lap at least for now. And it looks like he's on the softs right away.
Yeah, he's definitely the driver to watch, obviously leading this championship. If he does well today, he'll be able to clinch the Drivers' Championship for the season. So he'll definitely look to do that, but I expect him to be high up on the list of qualifiers today. But on a track like this, where everyone has so little experience, it's hard to know. You can have some curveballs come your way. As he says, a 134.3, and that is the benchmark that the rest of the drivers will look to follow.
So Jetties is just chatting on Twitch there, saying, watch out for the strong performance coming from Dick Tucker today. Word in the Ferrari paddock is that he's rolled out some new packages for the Hanoi Grand Prix. Thank you very much there.
Ferrari,
great inside information.
Ferrari needs all the packages that they can throw out right now.
Definitely.
That's for sure.
So Dick Tucker is coming through.
T-Boy and L-Boy. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, you're fine. Dick Tucker is just crossed the line right about now. Came in at P3 on the softs, so not terrible. Definitely gonna, banker laps are being set right now, so you got to remember that, especially for those who may be more new to watching F1, especially F1 esports, is with these short qualifyings, banking laps is very important for that first time out. It builds that confidence. It gets a decent lap time on the board, and it gives you something that you can then push with, knowing that you've got in Dick Tucker's case, a 135.8 that will put him probably midfield should he not be able to get a faster lap.
That's for sure. I mean, he's over a second down on Ize, who has the fastest lap so far, so he will definitely want to improve on that. They have a good qualifying battle over the last few races. As we see Karen Smith do just that on the final corner, lost a bit of wing. That hurt his time, but you definitely want to get one lap in before, especially on a track like this with very little runoff area. One little slip up, and you can easily DNF and finish your qualifying just in the blink of an eye.
Oh, definitely. Looks like we have Big Lovins will be the last one to put in a time besides Addy Striker, who's still on his out lap. Looks like he's just coming in through Sector 2 right now.
Let's see what kind of time he sets for Sector 2. It looks like he might have it looks like he backed out of that.
Yep.
And he will either do one more out lap or head to the pits. This is
actually looks like Camel went out on the medium.
As Addy Striker on his hot out lap bends it into the wall. Lucky to not DNF there, but he damages his wing and he'll head right back to the pits. It just goes to show, even on an out lap, trying to get your tires up to temperature, breaks up the temperature, you can put it into the wall without too much difficulty. But yeah, looks like we have a couple drivers, as you were saying, on medium tires.
Yeah, Camel and Buffalo Beans. Camel did put up a 137 on the mediums, which is definitely a positive, especially on those medium tires, just being only 3 seconds down. It'll allow him to see where he's going to place with those mediums. I know what I tend to do when I'm racing in these types of lobbies is I'll go out on the mediums, see what type of lap I can put up. If it's a strong track for me like Australia, I'll know that I can probably finish within the top 10 with the medium tires. But if it's a weaker track like Hanoi, I know that, okay, mediums are going to put me, probably, 13th, 14th, somewhere around there. And it just gets that confidence up. It's so big on these street circuits to just have confidence to take every corner as fast as you can. And going out on the mediums allows you to do that because you're not having as close of braking zones and you have a little bit more time to run through.
Yep. It looks like one of the drivers trying to set tires on the time on the medium is Buffalo Beans, and he disqualified his time on the second lap. So we'll see if he goes a run once more on these mediums or he'll call it quits. He does look like he calls it quits, and it looks like he'll probably switch over to the softs. What is the tire strategy we expect to see? I don't have much experience here at this track, so I wouldn't know. But
I know that without any sort of incident, you can go soft to mediums if you are really good at taking care of your tires. Your rears do get burnt up quite a bit, so you really have to be careful. And as Jetty said, the track does eat up your fronts. So I meant fronts, not rears. But you got to be really careful, especially on those softs. Once they start to wear down, if you put a half a tire on a curb, you're going into a wall. So you have to be careful. I think we'll see probably a lot of people go softs into hards if they're being sort of conservative. But you might see some people try to stretch out those mediums to the end of the race.
Interesting. So one stop strat. You don't see people going more than a one stop strategy if they can help it.
I think you're gonna have a safety car. It's almost required on this track. So most likely, most people are gonna plan for the two stops. So they're gonna go soft, medium, and then softs or mediums depending on when that safety car comes out. But people who are gonna risk it and maybe try and push those mediums to the very last lap, or even just pit early for hards and really get those hards beat in to a point where they're turning fast laps. It'll be interesting to see if they choose to go in and switch out for softs later in the race, or maybe go to the mediums. But that's all dependent on the safety car.
As we are on board here with Duck Lovers, he is up 0.3 through Sector 1. It's pushing into Sector 2. We'll see if he's able to improve his time even more. Needs to improve by about 0.5 overall in order to try to beat Ize to the pole position. That really big braking zone, as he gets a little wobbly there at the exit out of that hairpin. Turn 12, actually turn 11. Doug Lovers was saying how Sector 3 is really the only part he enjoys on the circuit. It really is an interesting track where you have such different parts of the circuit. Sector 2 is basically all straights with one, roundabout. Sector 3 is, Duck Lovers improves by 0.7, 134 flat, and that puts him in provisional pole with 6 minutes left. I think he can probably do a little bit better than that, have some times in the 139s, but that is a good time to set to try to put some pressure on the drivers behind.
Yeah, and Issy's actually going to come across the line here in just a second. Looks like he's going to improve as well,
but not
enough. So he improves by 0.2, but he's still a 10th down on Duck Lovers.
We've really seen some really good qualifying battles with these drivers over the past few races. In the U.S., Netherlands as well. So Dick Tucker looks like he's on the mediums, which is a bit of a surprise. See if what he's doing. I'm not exactly sure what his plan is, since he already set a time on the softs.
There is a small chance that he's going out happy with his soft time and is just going to run the track as hard as he can to see what the maximum tire wear is, to try and do that quick math if he hasn't. Oh, he's actually going into the pits now. So I don't know if he accidentally clicked onto the mediums or what happened there. But I do know that there are some racers out there who are busy during the week, so they can't practice. And so what they do is they'll actually go out on a different compound during qualifying, run it as hard as they can, see what the max tire wear is for a lap, and then just do the quick math to figure out where they're going to need to pit at.
Interesting. As Karen Smith sets a 138.5, moves him up to 12th position. And it looks like we probably only have, these drivers only be able to get one more lap in at this point if they hurry.
Yeah, if you look at Camel in P7, he's actually coming down the back straight right now into the braking zone for the hairpin.
Looks like he disqualified his lap, though.
Oh, yep, he did. You are correct.
But he'll probably stay out and set another time.
So yeah, down in the pit lane at the moment, looks like the split times overall. Obviously, Duck Lover has the best time. Ezzy owns the first sector, so currently at the moment that's his sector, but Duck Lover owns both Sector 2 and Sector 3, so a little bit split between that. Obviously, we probably expect a little bit more from FTC Ezzy. We have Dick Tucker's actually talking to us in the pits at the moment, just having a shout out to him on Twitch there. So yeah, good luck to him in improving your time. And Ramacon at the moment has the fastest top speed in the track at 336 kilometers an hour. Back to you guys.
Thank you. So he's probably slimming his setup down to be fast on the long straights, but that may be hurting him a bit in Sector 3 with all the S's. So I hope that new Ferrari package that Dick Tucker has will fix all his spinalas. That's been his nemesis over the past 2 weeks, so we'll be sure to watch out for that. As Ramacron in the second McLaren is starting his hot lap. Looks like he is really the main driver out on the track right now.
Currently in third place. He's a second and a half behind Duck Lover. It'll be interesting to see what type of time he can put up.
As he improves 2.5 tenths through Sector 1. Sorry?
Oh, I was actually gonna ask you. I'm not too familiar with Ramacon. Is he someone to look out for in this race?
Definitely. He had his first victory, I believe, in Japan, but he's always been in a close battle with Ize since the start of the season. Had a number of podium finishes, but really over the past few weeks, you've seen Dick Tucker really step up the game, kind of throwing a new challenge to the top few drivers, and then Duck Lovers also has come in and challenged for the podium positions and for the race win. So, Ize was really dominant at the beginning of the season, winning I don't know how many races in a row, but several races in a row. But since then, the challenge has really increased as the competition stepped up to the challenge. So that's really good to see. But I still think the favorite is Ize tonight.
Okay.
But Ramacron might be a close second or third. As he sets a time, improves by 1 second and 2 tenths, but not even enough. That's not even enough to get him up from past third. So really separate himself from Dick Tucker there, who is also on the hot lap, but he will need to improve for sure himself.
Yeah, he went wide turn 3, I guess, through that little carousel section. Ended up going past that white line. Didn't invalidate, obviously, but it's not very grippy out there. If you get half your car over that white line, you're going to start locking up your tires and having some spin. So it'll be interesting to see how fast his Sector 2 is going to be here. It's about 76 thousandths off of his best time.
As Isotin is the second driver to retire so far, 10 seconds to go, so Drivers will need... Doug Tucker does not improve his time, so he will stick in 4th position right now. Drivers in the pits will retire. I'm trying to look to see if there's anyone else. Looks like all the drivers are retired. Maybe Addy Striker here. Nope, he is parked up.
I think Izzy got out before the timer hit 0, so I think he's going to be the one to watch here as he's...
All right.
He's coming down the straight here.
Trying to pull up the standings here so we can take a look at them for a moment. I know AlphaTauri, obviously, with Ize, is doing quite well. And so, yeah, looking at the standings, Ramacron really needs a win here. He's the only challenger to Ize at this point in the season, and he needs a win quite badly in order to make it last to the final race. We'll see if he's able to accomplish that.
And Ize is actually about a 10th up on his best time, so he's going to have a lightning quick Sector 3 if he wants to get that provisional pole place.
That's for sure. And AlphaTauri has kind of run away. McLaren is in 2nd place behind AlphaTauri in the constructors, but that championship is already locked up, and no one's even close to McLaren at this point as Ize crosses the line, improves by half a tenth, and he misses out on pole position by half a tenth. So very, very tight between Duck Lovers and Ize. As Duck Lovers...
Camel.
What happened?
Camel was on a hot lap. It looked like he was pretty quick through Sector 3, and just before the penultimate corner, just had a little bit of oversteer and had to bail out of his lap.
As Duck Lovers improves as well by a tenth of a second, and we have our one and only time in the 133s, a 133.978. Good job by Duck Lovers. He solidifies his pole position, but there's no one out who can challenge him. I think that will be all of the hot laps that we see today.
Yeah, so Duck Lover, Izzy, Ramacron are your top 3 in this qualifying session. Duck Lover's running away with this one by a 10th. So not an extreme runaway by any means, not the type of runaway we see in real life F1, but still a 10th in these types of lobbies is a good deal of time, especially with how optimal most of these drivers are running these laps. So.
All right, well, we are taking bets currently in the chat. What lap will the safety car come out on?
I hear there's a good over-under on 5 safety cars through the race.
Turn 1 as well is being mentioned. I think that was argued last time, but it did not come to fruition, so we shall see.
Nope. Not turn 1. I believe it was... I can't remember what turn it happened last race, but...
Turn, says here, there's 20, how many corners are there? 23 corners, so 45 would be second lap, second to last corner.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll see if
I called it. Yep, 45, the Biggles.
All right, that is officially the end of qualifying. We'll run through the grid here in a moment. All right, so there we have it. Front row, Duck Lovers, Ize separated by just over a tenth of a second. Ramacron and Tick Tucker in 3rd and 4th, 2nd row. Owlboy, Enoch, Big Lovins, Camel, Louise Mai, and Iserton are the top 10. Camel is the one that sticks out. He's starting on the medium tire. Different strategy. Prodigy, Blue Cow, Buffalo Beans, Karen Smith, Bob Banis, T-Boy, and Addy Striker are the remaining drivers. They'll have free choice of tire. They try to qualify on the softs. We'll see if they go for something else in the race. That is the end of qualifying for the Vietnam Grand Prix. We will be back in 1 moment with the race. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vietnam Grand Prix. We are in Hanoi, the capital, well, Vietnam, and this is the very first Formula One Grand Prix to be held in this country. As you can see, it's a very interesting circuit. It's a street circuit, 5.6 kilometers long, 23 turns, 3 DRS zones, a number of very long straights, very flat track though, not very much in undulation or altitude change. But we have 17 drivers on the grid. They are forming up, perfecting their strategy with their engineers, deciding what tires, what fuel to start on, and they are ready for the challenge that lies ahead. 28 laps of this extremely challenging street circuit. It's as challenging as Baku, it can be as difficult as Monaco, and you're racing with 17 other drivers on this tight track, and they will have their work cut out for them for sure over the next hour or so. I'm joined, as in qualifying, by Biggles and Seamus in the commentary box with me. What are you expecting to see on the first few laps, Seamus?
Well, honestly, what I'm hoping to see is some tight racing, but safe racing. I know as a racer myself, I would rather give up a few spots than end my race early. I do know that there are obviously some drivers out there, both in real life and in virtual, that have the opposite demeanor when they're racing. They would rather push everything as hard as they can, and if it ends their race, it ends their race. But I honestly hope that there'll be less than 2 safety cars. Whether or not that's actually going to happen will be determined during the race. But I'm hoping for some really close, aggressive racing that's also safe.
I feel you there. Things can quickly go wrong, obviously, on this track. It doesn't take much. It only takes really one person to go into the wall and create a pile up behind. So we shall for sure hope that the racing stays clean for the first few laps. The drivers take it a bit easy, a bit more cautious than normal, and we'll be able to space them out and get some good racing here over the next 28 laps. Thankfully, we don't really have Grosjean on the track as far as I'm aware. We might have a Grosjean impersonator. You never know, but I expect some good racing between these top 4 drivers.
Yeah, I'd actually like to point out, towards the bottom of the grid, T-Boy in P16 is actually on the hard compound here.
Really?
So he is definitely going to go for the one-stop strategy. He's going to start on the hards, he's going to push him as far as he can, and probably it's 28 laps, so at probably that 20 to 21 lap mark, he's going to go ahead and pit in and get on those softs and just try to push to the end of the race. We'll see if that strategy changes at all, obviously, with safety cars. But it is a strategy that I've seen employed in other races, and honestly, it's a strategy that we saw in place in real life as well with Max Verstappen. I think he was on mediums though at Great Britain, if I remember correctly, or was he on the hards in Q2?
Mediums, I believe.
Yeah,
mediums,
yeah,
I
he was
believe.
on the mediums.
All right, the drivers are on the grid. They will rev their engines, waiting for further back in the field. Duck Lovers gets a great start, and Ramacron and Ize are wheel to wheel through turn 3. Looks like both McLaren boys are in the lead right now. Ize losing a place as we have a virtual safety car right off the bat as the last drivers are climbing through the last of turn 3. I'm not sure what this virtual safety car came out for. It looks like we have all drivers on the track. I believe it might be a Haas of Anik. No, he's still has his wing. Actually, I take that back. He is missing part of his wing. He lost 7 places, so a bit of initial contact early on. And I'm trying to continue to look back as the virtual safety car has ended, and we are back up and racing.
Yeah, Enoch actually ended up spinning in turn 1. I don't know if there's any contact there. Most likely there was. But I did see him just spin right before the cameras cut to the leaders.
I'm on board with Duck Lovers and Ramacron. These teammates aren't really racing like teammates. Ramacron's right on the gearbox of Duck Lovers, neck to neck. He'll have to back off just a touch through the dirty air here of Sector 3, as we have a yellow in Sector 2. I'm looking back, it looks like that is a Williams of Addy Striker, who spun at the hairpin. But Duck Lover is able to open up that gap just a bit over his teammate, and Ize is right behind as well. As we have a couple drivers into the pits already, Luis and Buffalo Beans and Enoch and Camel actually are all in the pits, so they must have picked up a bit of damage. And very interesting to see. Camel has the fastest lap so far, but that won't hold up because that was due to the virtual safety car.
It does look like one person to keep note. I'm going to keep coming back to him. This T-Boy, he did make it through lap 1 safe, gained 5 positions.
As
That's
Dick Tucker makes a big dive down the inside into turn 6, sorry, and Ize hangs on, but Dick Tucker has overtake and the slipstream. He's trying to get past. It's hard to do so. The concrete walls close in on you, but he tries to go to the inside. Ize covers the outside into the braking zone, trying to go wide, back around. A bit of contact between the two of them, but looks like Dick Tucker will have P3, but Ize isn't going to back down for that. He has the inside line for the next corner, and he takes the position back, goes a bit wide there, but squeezing Dick Tucker into the wall, but Dick Tucker backs out, does well to back out and keep from getting any damage. Ize outbroke himself just a touch, locked up on his front right tire, but will keep P3 for now. Good close racing, and Allboy is back up behind these drivers. Not the driver I would expect to be there, but as Dick Tucker is into the wall at the penultimate corner, and he will have to do an entire lap before heading back into the pits as he's damaged his front wing. That new upgrade, hope Ferrari bought plenty of upgrade parts to the track because he might need, and he's going through a bunch of them as he's struggling with that front wing.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him a lot on this track especially. There's just so many long straights where that front wing, if you lose it, you're going to lose a lot of time, especially that back straight.
Yeah, Blue Colours in the pits right now, replacing a front wing. Might have saved time penalty as well, but that's cost him. He can change up for those tyres now and get that pit stop out of the way, so what can he do to come back as he's going to exit last?
Can you get a little bit closer to your mic? We're having a hard time hearing you, unfortunately. The pit lane's a loud place.
It is a very loud place. Yeah, Blue Cow's just replaced his wing and he's exited the pits there.
All right.
P14.
Actually, looking at position 8, Big Lovins has slipstream, has DRS coming down into the hairpin. Going to gain a lot of time onto Iceton. He was almost 8/10 down coming through into the straight, and has gained 2/10 on the straight there with the DRS.
As Buffalo Beans gets past Luis Maya up into P12, and he'll set off down the straight as well. But going back on board with Big Lovins. Hard to keep close to these S sessions. That's something we've seen from all these drivers. But with DRS now available, it's really important to be within that 1 second gap. With 3 DRS zones, it's not too difficult to be able to maintain that gap and have some good overtaking options. As Dick Tucker finally makes it back into the pits after that torturous long lap, and he will replace his front wing as quickly as possible.
Yeah, speaking of that 1 second gap, we've got Ramacron, who is trying to stay within 1 second of Duck Lovers, his teammate here. 6/10 coming in down into the first chicane here into Sector 2. He's got to try and stay within that 1 second, or else Duck Lovers is going to run away.
He has DRS now down the straight. Sorry, Bagels, anything to report?
Oh no, just something to say. Dick Tucker's pit stop cost him a lot of time, almost 40 seconds, but he's back out on track again now with some fresh tyres and a fresh bit of carbon fibre stuck to his nose cone on that.
As Ramacron is approaching Duck Lovers with a head full of steam, but not enough track. Duck Lovers must have been deploying some rich fuel, but is struggling with his rear tires, and Ramacron will have the inside line into the next corner, into turn 13, bumping wheels. Duck Lovers, man. Oh, that is both McLarens into the wall. They were trying to go side by side through the S's, and that does not go well for anybody. And Ize, the driver who's been struggling so far, virtual safety car, which will help him out a bit, but Ize driver who's struggling so far will go into the pits as well, actually. But so it won't get as much advantage as I thought he would, but take the opportunity to get a free pit stop with 4 laps total.
And
Yeah,
actually,
exactly. Well, he could box. Sorry to cut you off. He could box with no damage, whereas Romacon obviously will have some damage there, and Duck Lovers will have damage. And Owlboy is going to also gain from this because he gets to get out in front of, behind FTC Izzy.
For sure. And Duck Lovers will have to wait a bit here behind his teammate, since both McLarens were involved in that incident. So he's going to lose the most time out of all the drivers here today.
And actually, while that battle for first was happening, there was a battle for 9th place between Camel and T-Boy. Camel just managing to pass him, as now T-Boy goes up into 9th place on those hard tires.
All right.
Big Lovins, P4, gaining on Izzy here, coming down the first straight into the chicanes. This is going to be an interesting battle to watch. The Big Lovins is still on his soft tires, while Izzy did hit for those mediums.
Big Lovins gets too excited, loses his rear coming out of turn 9, and I think Ize will take that moment of respite and head off. But that DRS is so powerful that he will be right back up on his tail going to the braking zone. So this could... He gets on the brakes early, doesn't try anything crazy, which is good to see.
Yeah.
But MLB Prodigy gained 10 laps so far this race, kept his known lead. The Haas driver is leading the Grand Prix a fifth of the way there, but he's touching those walls. He'll need to be careful if he wants to keep his front wing secure.
Biggles, I would assume that MLB started on the mediums. Is that correct?
MLB, let me get this for a second. What position is he currently in at the moment now?
First.
He won.
Oh, first, yeah. Sorry, I was looking down the list there. I'm not used to him.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yes,
what I
he
was
has.
saying.
He started on those medium compounds, done 5 laps, so he will have to still do his stop as well as Ice Tin that is behind him.
As Dick Tucker has been caught up right behind T-Boy here. A little bit of a bump there. T-Boy is going slower than Dick Tucker would be expecting, as T-Boy obviously started on those hard tires. And Dick Tucker has pitted for the mediums and looks like he'll get the overtake done up the inside, down the main start-finish straight.
I really like this strategy from T-Boy. This is the type of strategy that I would employ myself, knowing that I might not be as fast as some of the guys on pole, but there's a chance that if I can start on a harder compound and keep my nose clean, that I'm going to have to take 1 or 2 less pit stops than the rest of the field. It means that I'm going to gain a lot of places. As we see, he's already gained 6 places this lap.
And Ize is back up into second place. Eisen is trying to get back to him, Adam, but it will be too far away for anything to happen. Duck Lovers has caught back up to T-Boy, and he'll get that pass done, I'm pretty sure, fairly quickly. Down the main straight, he'll have DRS. He's basically past the T-Boy even before he has DRS, and makes it look easy over the Red Bull.
Does he make it look easy or easy?
Makes it look easy. But Karen Smith is also now right up on the back of Allboy. And we'll see if the Racing Point driver can get a move done. So far, 2 virtual safety cars, but no full-fledged safety cars, which we're happy to see. But that doesn't mean that we haven't had plenty of action in the pits. Drivers have been changing out their front wings like crazy.
It looks like Romacon now, his teammate from Duck Lovers, is also putting the pressure on. So the McLaren have that extra little boost there right now as he goes around the inside of that corner and actually kind of make it look pretty easy there on Big Lovins, and that should move him up to P4.
I don't think Big Lovins put too much of a fight there. His softs are 7 laps old now, so they'll be at the end of their life. I expect him to be going into the pits here relatively quickly, as Ize is now right back up. Just took a few laps to get back up toward the front of the pack, and with DRS, he should be able to get the overtake done here on MLB Prodigy. So Prodigy will lose 1 position as DRS opens on Ize. He's flying through. Prodigy goes to the outside racing line, lets Ize pass without too much of a fight. Can't really put up too much of a fight because just the speed difference is so big between the cars coming down that straight. And Ize's back up into the lead of the race. Position he actually hasn't had this so far this race, as far as I can think. So he is at the lead, and that's where he'll want to be for the next 21 laps.
Do we know exactly where Ize needs to place to clinch? I know a win will obviously clinch it.
I believe he is. I'd have to pull up the standings here again.
Well, as he does that, I'll just let everybody in on a little radio commentary here. Camel is fighting for P7 on Karen Smith. Camel's still on the soft compound. Looks like Karen is on the mediums, if I'm seeing that correctly. Yep, on the mediums, coming into the penultimate corner, and it looks like Camel just had to back out there to not bump, but DRS going to make the job done into the front straight there. So Camel taking over P7 and trying to charge his way up the field as he has now gained back any positions that he's lost since the start of the race.
Are those a new set of softs that he has, or is he on his?
No new softs. No, negative. Nobody's changed to any new softs at the moment. Those softs are all one softs. As well as Romicron moves up into P3, makes a pass with ice to them.
And Dick Tucker moves back up into P8 as well.
It always feels bad being in Karen Smith's place there, where one person passes you and you have to compromise your line to let them pass, or make sure that they take a safe overtake. And Recei's probably going to get trained here again, as Duck Lover is hot on his tail with DRS. Karen does have DRS as well, so they might not catch on this lap, but look for Duck Lover to overtake Karen here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, speaking of Duck Lovers, actually, Jetais has just shouted out on Twitch. It's going to be a battle between Dick Tucker and Duck Lovers soon, so I hope we don't mess up the Dick Lovers or Duck Tuckers.
That is true.
As Duck Lovers does get past Karen Smith up into P9, and he's a second and a half back of Dick Tucker, who's now just really close up behind Camel, so he will look to also get another overtake done. So trying to do a little bit of math in my head here. As far as I can calculate, I think as Dick Tucker is banging on the walls there again, doesn't really like turn 22 and 23.
Yeah, that's not the line you want to take through there.
No, he's a bit narrow.
Generally, yeah, a bit narrow. Generally don't want to touch the wall. Dick Tucker has touched that wall a couple times this race and broke a wing.
So, according to my calculations, Ize needs to win to clinch the title. He is 17 points ahead right now. So
battle for second place here. Ramacron coming down the back straight onto Prodigy with DRS. And it looks like Prodigy is going to go to the outside line and makes the job done, as it sounded like MLB outbraked himself there. So Ramacron with the safe pass through the hairpin.
And let's go back on board with Duck Lovers, who has closed up already on Dick Tucker. There was a second and a half gap, and now he's right on the back of the gearbox, and there's a little bit of a train now behind Camel for P5. So Camel's going to have to be looking out, as these two drivers will be swooping like a bunch of hawks.
Duck Lover did just bump on the outside wall there, and judging by the lack of grip through these corners, he might have broken a wing. Not sure entirely though.
I think I'm looking on the broadcast. It looks like he has both of his end plates, so he should be fine. Still right on the gearbox of Dick Tucker as Karen Smith goes into the pits. Duck Lovers has much. I don't know what happened to Dick Tucker there. Dick Tucker, maybe.
Oh, no, he hasn't boxed.
I don't know.
It almost looks like he
lost
just
a bit
gave
of
the position.
Maybe so. Maybe, I don't know if he lost some grip or gave up the position, or doesn't look to have damage, but you never know. And he'll let Duck Lovers, or it could have been a little bit of a strategy, because he'll know that he'll be able to have DRS down the next two DRS zones. So could be a little bit of gamemanship there between for Dick Tucker and Duck Lovers. You never know.
Yeah, and this is Camel is sweating bullets right now. Great technical driver. He's gonna have to try to keep two very, very fast cars behind him on some of these very long straights. One of the longest straights in F1 coming up right now.
I can imagine. The DRS zone doesn't really start until halfway down the straight. It's so long. But Camel must be using up some ERS because he is staying in the lead, defends up the inside. Duck Lovers has to go to the outside, try a little bit of switchback, but there just isn't much room. There isn't enough room on this track in order to get a move like that done. Camel. Well, I was holding my breath there for a second. That's why I didn't say anything, but Duck Lovers tried to take a look up the inside. Camel stuck it to the outside, left the space, but was able to maintain P5. So a bit of a tight racing with the walls there, but good work from both of them.
Yeah, and interesting to note, I think the delta is a little bit off for the gap between Camel and Owlboy. But they both crossed the line and it doesn't fix itself, so maybe not.
It says 1.5 seconds on my screen.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. So mine was a little glitch there, just updated. It'll be interesting to see if Duck Lover and Dick Tucker reach a little bit of an agreement with Camel here and maybe try to get a slipstream up to Owlboy. Because it's going to be hard to pass all these cars. You're going to be fighting for positions a lot through these straights, and that will make your lap times go down. And with Owlboy having clean air in front of him, he could end up running away.
As Camel goes a bit wide, and Duck Lovers will have the inside line. And the real key question is, will he have DRS, as Dick Tucker is up on Camel as well, and up on the back of Duck Lovers. So this could be quite intense. Both those drivers are on top of each other. Camel has the DRS, though, over all of them. But Duck Lovers is able to hang on to P5 despite the threat of Dick Tucker and Camel with the DRS. I don't know why Dick Tucker didn't have DRS. Neither did Duck Lovers there, so a bit odd. But they will race on ahead to battle it out amongst themselves. Crazy 3 cars trying to overtake each other down the straight. That can be very intense, especially on how tight that straight is. These concrete barriers.
I actually just ended up looking over to T-Boy, and he locked up his tires, both fronts, into the hairpin past the second straight. So it'll be interesting to see what his tire wear looks like. I don't know if that's part of the telemetry data you have there, Biggles.
The tire data for which driver, sorry?
T-Boy, who started on the hards.
Yeah, T-Boy is 10 laps on those hards. Yeah,
Yep.
P12. So he's definitely going to be able to go a lot further in the race. He's not the only driver actually on the hards as well. There's other boys also on them. And he boxed and went to those hards as well. He's currently running in P4. Setting 142s, so a little slower than the battle that you're seeing with Duck Lovers and Dick Tucker behind. But however, that's not too bad because he can hang in to the end of the race on those hards. And Prodigy's still yet to box there, running 11 laps on those mediums. So very soon he must be struggling. He's actually about 143.7. So if he gets into the 144, this is going to be almost 4 seconds slower than Izzy at the lead run.
As Duck Lovers up the inside on Owlboy, Dick Tucker having a bit of a sniff himself, and he might get that position. He'll have the inside line. Those mediums have the speed over those hards, both being a little cautious, and Owlboy lets him through. So these two drivers moving their way back up the pack. Duck Lovers leading the way. And sorry,
I was just gonna say, it does look like some information from the paddock here. Elon Muskrat says, Dick Tucker says there's no point in racing Duck Lover because he has a ton of wing damage. If he would have caught him and both of them would have lost time.
So Dick Tucker has wing damage?
It sounds like it.
That would explain. Didn't look like he has it on the broadcast, but he did bump the wall quite vigorously there a few laps ago. So he's trying to hang on with that wing he has until these medium tires run out of pace. So.
Hey Biggles, we see 2 cars in the pits. Can you tell us what's going on there?
2 cars in the pits right now. That's Prodigy. He had to do his box before because he had went a long way on those tires. Also Buffalo Beans' box there. So Buffalo's going to. He's had enough of those soft tires. He only did one first stop on the mediums, and then he had the box again, so he must have damage. And now he did 11 on those softs. He's gone back out again, I believe, on the softs.
So it looks like Camel's actually going to try to fight back to Alboy here. Obviously, Alboy on those hard compound tires should be able to catch him within the next lap or so, as looks like Camel is on the softs. So Camel, I believe, starting on the mediums, was one of 2 or 3 to start on the mediums, and actually I think the only one to qualify on the mediums. He is going to definitely be doing a 2-stopper here. Looks like medium to soft, most likely. It actually looks like maybe Alboy's holding Camel up here in P6, as the gap from Dick Tucker to Camel is almost 2 full seconds now.
As Karen Smith and Blue Cow are battling it out down in P11. And Karen Smith has the inside, but locks up. Bit of contact there between the 2 cars. I don't know if Blue Cow got any damage from that. Looks like he's okay, but Karen Smith outbroke himself, locked up his tires. Still got the overtake done, but went deeper into that corner than he was hoping for sure. As Camel does get past Alboy, but goes wide, and it's interesting to see. Alboy was very cautious there. Probably more cautious than he needed to be, but he will likely have DRS. See if he can get fight back for P5.
Yeah, cautious indeed, but you got to remember he is on the hard compound tire. He is going to try and make it to the end, barring a safety car. As he actually dives on the inside here and gets the job done.
Both drivers locking up both their front tires, as Camel will fight back up the inside, locking up as well. They're going to burn through their tires sooner rather than later with all how much they're leaving on the road.
Yeah, it was actually
not looking good for Camel. 11 laps on those soft tires. He's been passed essentially by a hard tire runner at the moment, so he's going to really struggle right now.
Surprised he's not going to go into the pits. I think a set of mediums would last to the end of the race, but he's maybe hoping to get a little bit more as he touches the wall, and that might be some wing damage. I'll try to look on the stream. Looks okay, but not what he was wanting for sure. As MLB Prodigy gets past Big Lovins, who does have wing damage, and that turn 22-23 is really catching a lot of drivers out. Trying to carry as much speed as they can through there, but the walls are very unforgiving.
Yeah, and if you turn in, a foot early, you either have to lose a lot of speed and turn back out as Camel looks towards the inside, but decides to wait his turn. But it's hard because if you turn in just too early, you're gonna end up bumping the wall, and that's gonna carry you into the next wall. But if you turn in too late, now you're having to brake. So it's a very precise turn-in point.
As Camel has the DRS on Alboy, way more speed. Alboy tries to protect up the inside, but that won't really matter because Camel has just so much more speed. And despite those harder tires, he gets through as we have a yellow. That looks like maybe, yes, it is Addy Striker who is into the wall. It turned 23, and he is 16, and he will need to pit for a new wing and a new change of tires. So that will work out okay for him, I think. It looks like he's retired, actually. So the first retirement of the race by Addy Striker, the Williams driver. And
Obviously,
looks like we have Bob as well, who went into the wall. He's having a tough time of it, and he's already
Camel actually. Yeah, Dick Tucker boxing, Camel boxing as well, but Camel actually ended up speeding coming into the pit, so he's gonna have a 5-second penalty at the end of the race here.
Very interesting.
There is a battle going on for 13th here between the 2 Red Bull drivers. T-Boy still on those hard compounds, I think, as the camera pans over to him.
I think they're both on mediums, but T-Boy has much fresher tires, so I think he'll pull away here in a moment. as
Yeah,
we
maybe
have-
they were expecting a call from Jeff for a safety car with that retirement, but however, that did not happen. So
Yeah, that would explain why so many people did dive into the pits there, as Big Lovin's also in the pits.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing the second round of pit stops. Camel going for the hard tires. Maybe that's all he had left. So the slower tire for the last 12 laps or so. And the front three there, Ize and Ramacron and Duck Lovers, all have the same age of tires. But really that 20-second gap between Ramacron and Duck Lovers is very, very crucial at this stage of the race. Obviously, he'll be wanting a safety car to come out to kind of get away with that.
Dick Tucker and Camel going wheel to wheel on the straight down into the hairpin. And just does get the move done. Obviously, on those medium tires, he's going to be able to have a little bit more grip than the harder compound. Dick Tucker must have had some wing damage. He dropped, it looks like about 3 places in the pits there, including Camel, who pitted after Dick Tucker and got out before him. So
I think
must
Dick
have had some wing damage.
Yes, he was changing out his wing. As Bob Banis in the Renault, looks like he is into the wall at turn 13. The stewards will take care of that, thankfully. No safety car needs to come out, but the second retirement of the race, Addy Stryker and Bob Banis have DNF'd so far. Halfway through, though, the Vietnam Grand Prix, and only 2 is not too bad, as looks like Buffalo Beans might be catching up to Blue Cow here. He has a fresh set of softs.
I was actually looking at the track at that time, and he was within a second as he just drops into that second mark now. But he actually lost his back end on turn 23. So he wasn't able to have a good exit out of that.
But he's closed right back up with DRS, and he'll probably bide his time to go down the second straight. But he'll get up nice and close and personal to Blue Cow, right up on the gearbox. He'll have a huge pace advantage.
Yeah, one of the things that I like to think about when I'm racing in these types of situations is it does look like Buffalo Beans is going to get the job done easy here during the second straight. Is focusing in front. Don't worry about the car behind you. Actually, Blue Cow using a
Blue Cow
DRS.
somehow, Blue Cow gets the DRS somehow.
Oh.
He manages to time that right with the detection point, and Beans, who initially must have thought he had that overtake done away with and on his way home, has to slot back in behind Blue Cow for the final points position. So maybe a bit of strategy there by Blue Cow, but he got the benefit of the detection zone, but really is struggling through these S's on those harder medium tires as Buffalo Bill tries to go side by side through the S's. We'll have the inside for the braking zone. Blue Cow doesn't want to have much with that, and he will back out. Doesn't have the grip to hang on there through those high-speed corners, and will move back into P11. So position gain for Buffalo Beans, the Racing Point driver, and he is right now behind his teammate. He'll look to catch him with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, and as I was saying, as we got actually Iceton just passing MLB Prodigy. Yep. And actually, Prodigy is going to have DRS coming down the second straight and might re-overtake this position on the softer compound. Does get the DRS. Going to have the inside. They're wheel to wheel right now. And it does look like Iceton does back out there. So just letting MLB have the turn and maybe getting a better exit onto the next straight. But as I was saying, and it's good advice for MLB here as he's got Iceton in his rearview mirror, is focus forward is the name of the game when you're racing someone and you've got them behind you. You have to remember that they have to pass you. You don't have to necessarily defend against them. Don't worry about the gap behind. Focus forward, try to hit hot laps, and hope that just you driving hot laps will keep them behind, and then defend when you need to. It's always really rough to see people who are so focused on the car behind on the straight that they end up touching a wall on one of the longest straights in F1 because they're so focused on defending the car behind that they're not watching where they're going. So it's always about focusing forward, keeping your head down, and letting the car defend. And if you have to, start defending that inside line.
I agree with you there. As we have a yellow, it looks like Luis Maya had a bit of trouble there. Doesn't have any damage, it looks like. So, but he'll drop all the way down to P15 for now. And as Isotin and MLB are still continuing their scrap over P5, I want to thank you for joining the circus, and Neris for your follows. Appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the stream. As we have a beautiful helicopter shot of the long straight. Isotin now has to look out for Dick Tucker, P7, who's coming up behind. All two of those have DRS, but Isotin is not quite close enough on Prodigy, but does get a little bit of a better exit, but is compromised as he has to back off to not run into Prodigy, and Dick Tucker will take the opportunity and sweep by. And that's something we've seen live today, where they have 3 drivers, and the driver in the back just kind of bides his time for the 2 drivers in front to get entangled with one another, so he can swoop on through and take some positions.
Yeah, it's definitely the strategy to take, especially on these races that have these long straights. This track and Monza as well. It's very important that you try to stay behind cars as long as you can. It's the DRS coming in for Dick Tucker, going towards the outside, as MLB was protecting that inside line, and it looks like Dick Tucker will get the job done. But let's see what happens on this next straight through the DRS zone. It looks like the DRS going to be ineffective on this straight.
As Grizzly Balls has posted there, shaken baked beans. So come on, Buffalo Beans, you're down P9 at the moment behind your teammate Karen Smith. Get in there, get some crucial points there for the racing point.
And it looks like Iceton, who's fallen all the way back to 10th place now, trying to get within a second of Buffalo Beans, and does manage to do so coming into the longest straight, or one of the longest straights in F1, and hopefully going to have the DRS and ERS management as he just gets inside of that 1 second mark through the detection zone, and should have DRS coming down this straight into the hairpin.
By the skin of his teeth, I think it was, and yes, he does have DRS. Still a few close battles to keep an eye on, as Enoch is the 3rd retirement. Looks like that corner 23, the last corner in the circuit, has claimed another victim. That's 2 drivers so far. They probably bounce off the inside, trying to cut that apex and hit the outside wall as a result, and that is a tough punishment.
Oh, Alboy's in the pits right now. I don't know why Alboy's box is on the hard tires. He could have gone to the end. Don't see a front wing change.
He's going.
No, he's just a pit stop with some tires.
He's going for some softs, as it looks like we have a big round of pit stops. Buffalo Beans, Karen Smith is into the pits, along with Prodigy as well. He had softs on.
Front wing change for Prodigy.
That would explain it. And he was running so well for so long, but that wing damage might have cost him big time, as he now looks like he's dropping down to P10. Buffalo Beans will need to make those soft tires last another 7 laps, as we have a number of yellow flags. Looks like a Haas. I'm trying to think of who that might be.
Oh, Eddie's the leader's box. Sorry to cut you off there. The leader's boxing.
Really? So 15 lap old, those tires must have been at the end of their life, because he will go to the softs. And we'll see how it's an interesting pit lane that we have at Vietnam, because it cuts several corners, so I don't really know how much time they lose on a pit stop here on this track. But Ramacron will move up into P1, and it'll be interesting to see if Duck Lovers, if he does anything with his strategy. Doesn't look like he will, and he will try to come out. Looks like he will not be able to come out close enough to Ize, who's now out of the pits, and Duck Lovers is behind him still by 8 seconds or so. So I think Duck Lovers might be in an interesting position right here, because 22 seconds to Dick Tucker behind. I think that might be a free pit stop, but is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk to pit and go to softs, or hang on for another 6 laps and have that 22-second gap? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, Duck Lovers is in trouble right now. He's losing 2 seconds a lap to Dick Tucker, so he has to do something if he wants to kind of remain in ahead. 17 lap mediums. Obviously, we saw Ezzy just decided that he was not going to be happy with those tires. He's moved on to the softs. So if you're going to lose 2 seconds a lap, you're in big trouble right now if you want to get on the podium.
As Buffalo Beans is into the pits himself, and he's passed by his teammate who pitted a few laps earlier, and Beans drops down to P11.
Prodigy in P8 just overtook on turn 3, overtook Big Lovins. But I was actually just going to point out, as far as penalty goes, as Biggles is filling people in the chat through text, there is very little penalties in the active racers here. No penalties in the top, basically 13. So the only person in the penalties actively on the track right now is Louise.
Yeah, there could actually be some penalties. If there are 5-second penalties, I do not get that information because those 5-second penalties do not get added until the end of the race because the drivers get the opportunity of serving them within the pits. So if there are any outstanding, shall we say, 5-second penalties, then they get added at the end of the race unless the drivers choose to serve them.
Gotcha. So I will fill everybody in. Top 3, no penalties. Looking at the incident report for the race, top 3, no penalties. Izzy's is on his first exceeding track warnings or exceeding track limits that happened in the first lap. So probably had to cut a corner to avoid some collisions. But past that, no warnings or penalties for any of the drivers in the top 3.
So this is interesting now, guys. If you're Ramacon and you're leading this race, you're 17 lap, 18 lap mediums right now. You've now got FTC Ezzy, who you know is very fast, obviously leading the championship as well. He's boxed, he's got fresh softs. He's now 3.5 seconds behind you, and he is lapping quicker than you. What do you do? How are you going to...
I would have to... I mean, he's gaining, what, almost a second a lap at this point?
Yeah, he's already under 2 seconds now, and it was 3 seconds when you started that question. So I think first place is out of the question for Ramacron right now, so that he has to look at the interval about 20 seconds to Duck Lovers. So I think he might be able to get a pit stop in and still come out ahead. That would be what I would be thinking of if I were Ramacron right now.
Yeah, you got to be thinking about the podium points here. Getting second, over third, obviously a huge increase in points. It might actually almost be worth it to let Izzy pass you going into the long straight so you can build a bigger gap for Duck Lovers going into the pits so you can try and get a free pit stop off. Let's see if he decides to do that or not.
As Ize is already passing Ramacron as we speak. He made up that time.
And
really quickly. And
wow.
Ramacron has 20 seconds, so if he can make those mediums last to the end as he locks up, that's not going to help him out. Both Ramacron and Duck Lovers in the McLarens are on tire preservation strategy right now. How long can these mediums last? Do you have any idea? I mean, 18 laps right now. They have to go 22 laps. A puncture would be deadly as Duck Lovers is dropping the time to Dick Tucker. As you said, 2 seconds a lap, if not more. So it could be interesting. As Ramacron does go into the pits, he's had enough.
Locked up going in too.
He's had enough, but I think he'll get a free pit stop. It was 22 seconds as he entered the pit lane. We'll see what it is when he exits.
Yeah, and I'm actually on board with Duck Lover right now, going through the S section. Let's see where Ramacron comes out in front, or if he comes out in front. Karen Smith getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings for cutting the track.
I think he'll be fine. Duck Lovers is just getting to the start-finish straight, and Ramacron is now exiting the pits. So it will be close, but Ramacron will keep his lead.
He's going to have his teammate behind him now, Duck Lovers. But Duck Lovers is also on those really worn medium tires now. So
I think Duck Lovers should have pitted a few laps ago, but that gap has dropped so much that he no longer has a free stop. So he has to hang on for 3 more laps. And that gap is now down to 10 seconds.
Got a 21-second gap here for Izzy. looking all but over for the Drivers' Championship here. As we said before in the stream, Izzy just needs to win this race, hold his position, hold this 20-second gap over the next 3 laps, and he will be the Drivers' Champion. Camel doing his part in the AlphaTauri for the Constructors in 5th place right now, 13 seconds back from Dick Tucker. Alboy, actually, it looks like maybe catching Camel here, so Camel's going to have to fight hard. Off the top of your head, do you remember how many points AlphaTauri is either in front or behind?
AlphaTauri has run away with the Constructors, so no
Okay.
worries for them right now. The combo Camel and Ize has done a good trick over the rest of the field. McLaren was the only one who could challenge them, but that gap is now way too large for any type of a comeback to be in. As Duck Lovers does go into the pits. Very interesting, as he has a flat. That is why he's in the pits. He had the puncture. He tried to make those tires last, but his front weight tire has finally given out, and his strategy is no more. He'll have, looks like 1 lap, 2 laps.
Yep, Dick Tucker makes the move. Kamel's coming around the final couple of corners, Alboy behind him. So he's going to lose a couple of positions. Ice Ten's a little further down the road there as well. And yes, they will get past. Kamel will get past, Alboy will get past. Ice Ten stopped on the track in the final corner. What happened? Did he spin?
Let me look.
Yeah, there's a yellow through the first sector right now.
So looks like he maybe
There's third.
Maybe he did.
He's got past. So Duck Lovers is going to drop. Oh, actually, no.
Oh, Duck Lover's actually leaving the session.
Maybe he's having internet issues. I do not know.
Hey, Biggles, do you happen to know how many seconds Buffalo Beans is making up on Big Lovins at the moment? With just 2 laps to go here in the Grand Prix.
Let me get back to you on that.
And fastest lap. Any ideas on who set that?
Ezzy, by far. 137.1.
Okay. So a race win and the fastest lap will for sure guarantee him the Drivers' Championship, and he is in a great position to do so.
Fight for P4 here. Camel versus Alboy. Alboy on those soft tires and Camel on the hards. Looks like, ooh, a little touch there. Probably no wing damage from that minor of a touch.
So, yeah, to get back to you, Buffalo's about 2 seconds a lap quicker right now.
It's going to be close at the end then, between Buffalo and Big Lovins, as it's a second and a half. But focusing in on the Alboy Camel battle here, as Alboy's just trying to find a way around.
As he goes up the inside, both locking up their tires. And who will blink? It looks like Camel will let Alboy through, but fights back, has the better exit out of that corner, down the start-finish rate, plus DRS. And he will, but forced to the outside line by Alboy. And it looks like Alboy will hang on to P4 for now.
It's really just the tire difference there, isn't it? As Buffalo Beans within a second now of Big Lovins. Buffalo Beans in P10 coming through the last turn here of Hanoi onto the second to last lap of this Grand Prix, as he does get the move down into turn 1.
And he will have P9, double his points. Goes a bit wide there. Hopefully he doesn't pick up a warning and a time penalty. Struggling to stay on this track, it seems like. But P9 for now.
Kamal now, if he's sniffing a point from Alboy, he has to do something about it. 0.6 now behind, running in P5.
Has DRS, but not quite enough space to attempt an overtake, and those hard tires might not be enough. This might be.
And we are on the final lap of the Grand Prix here.
All right.
Izzy coming through the carousel now and going onto the back straight. It looks like, barring any sort of fuel shortage or spin out, looks like he's going to clinch this race and clinch the Drivers' Championship here in Lights Out Racing, the No Assist Series.
Indeed. If Alboy is able to hang on here for P4, that will be his best finish so far by far. His next previous best finish was a P7 in Japan. Sorry, a piece. Yes, a P7 in Austria actually. So he would be very excited for sure on a P4
Duck Lover,
here.
sorry to interrupt, but Duck Lover's in the pit again on the very last lap.
Looks like he did. I'm not sure what is going on with that. They put him on to the
Is he
medium.
still being driven by AI, maybe?
I think so. I know he's had some internet issues over the past few days, so that might have finally caught up to him at last.
Oh, and Izzy crossing the line. That is the race there. Izzy taking P1. Is there any other close battles that we need to be looking out for? T-Boy within a second of Luis Mia in battle for 13.
But,
Yeah, just a quick update from the Twitch there. Duck had to change a flat tire. 21 laps on those tires, so that was completely enough. They blew up.
Well, it looked like the AI switched him back to the soft tire, so not exactly sure what was going on there. Very odd,
And
as you can see. But Camel is the closest battle we have on track. I don't think that will matter.
nope, it looks like barring penalties, this is the provisional leaderboard as standings at the moment. Camel on those hard compound tires, going to be hard to make up a second and plus through the S's and coming through the final corner.
And we'll see if there's any penalties to be dealt out with right now. So far, not the case. Prodigy is within just over a second to Isotin. Now under a second, but I don't think that will be close enough to mount a charge on the Alfa
So just
Romeo
some
driver.
information.
I take that back. This could be tight. Will Prodigy get a good exit? Not quite enough track to the start-finish line, and he'll slot into P7. Buffalo Beans into P8, I believe. So, what a race.
Absolutely fantastic race. Little information from the paddock here as Buffalo Beans does get driver of the day. It looks like the AI ended up changing the new softs that Duck Lovers was on into the mediums that had the puncture earlier in the race. The same set that had the puncture.
That is Codemasters for you. As they say, it's not a bug, it's a feature. But great race by Ize. That clinches the Drivers' Championship for him. Congratulations. He will be racing Division 1 starting in September. But he wraps up the driver's title with that win, and obviously AlphaTauri has the Constructors' Championship. Well, Rumacron, P2, Dick Tucker, P3, all boy. His career best finish in LOR, a P4. Great racing from him. Camel with the P5. Isotin, Prodigy, Buffalo Beans in P8. Big Lovins, Duck Lovers are the top 10, the point scoring. And then beyond that, Louise Maya, Blue Cow, Karen Smith, T-Boy, Enoch, Bob Bainus, and Addy Stryker, the last three drivers there, DNFing during the race. So only 3 DNFs, obviously a bit more than you want, but
No safety
not
cars.
expected. And only virtual safety cars, no full safety cars. That is a shocker for sure. We will be back in one moment with some interviews with these drivers. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. What an exciting race Ize clinching the driver's title, but we are joined first of all for All Boy, the man who finished in P4. What a race from you, sir. This is your career best finish in Lights Out Racing. Kind of what was your strategy?
Strategy was pretty poor, actually. I went in for some hards on my after my first stint. That was a mistake, so I kind of fell back for a bit. Kind of surprised that I went back to P4 after switching to sauce, but worked out.
Well, it was a tough track for sure. 3 DNFs. Did you pick up? I don't remember if you picked up any wing damage in the race, but I'm sure you did your best to stay out of the wall. How challenging was it out on the track today?
It was actually better than I thought it was. My practicing went a lot worse than that. Didn't get any wing damage, actually. I hit Ramacron at first turn, first lap. Ended up not getting damage, and that was great. Yeah.
Well, great race from you. Congratulations on your P4. You're just like a Carlos Sainz right now, right outside the podium positions. But congratulations. I'm sure you'll get one moving forward, and good luck next week.
Thanks.
All right. Our second interview. Unfortunately, Ize is unable to make it to the interview today. He is the Drivers' Championship, as I mentioned earlier. Congratulations to him, but he's in a different time zone, so probably is looking to get some rest. Camel will be our second interview. You had a lot of action on track today. Ended up P5, I believe, but were right driving amongst a bunch of other cars, being overtaken. So, especially on a tight circuit like Vietnam, that had to be kind of a harrowing experience.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect too much action on the circuit tonight, but yeah, I got a lot of action. I got a really nice start. Then I ended up with the Mercedes of Albo in front of me, so I had to go for a pit stop very early.
Mm-hmm.
But the race starting from that was very, very fast paced, a lot of overtakes, a lot of action, as you said, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very nice race.
I'm glad to hear it. I
Race,
don't
yeah.
think many drivers will be saying that about Vietnam. Did you manage to? I don't think you got any damage during the race. Am I wrong?
I did at the first turn. I crashed with that boy.
Okay.
His Mercedes was in the middle of the way.
Yep.
Oh, that was you. Sorry.
Yeah. Then at the last part of the race, on the last laps, I was trying to create a gap with Alboy that was behind it, but I got too early on the throttle and kissed the wall and got a yellow front wing there.
Okay. Well, congratulations on, for the most part, keeping your nose clean. Do you feel confident with Brazil next week?
Yeah, it's a track that I really like. I think it's my favorite.
So your favorite track. We'll hope. Good luck next week. Hopefully you can be on the podium there in Brazil. But congratulations on your race today. Glad you enjoyed it, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
All right. I think that will be all from us today. That was the penultimate race of the season, but it was the championship decider with FST Ize taking the title ahead of Ramacron and AlphaTauri taking the Constructors' Championship as well. However, there's still one more race in the season. I'm sure we'll have all of these exciting racers still there next week, fighting it out for the last few points, enjoying the historical and exciting track of Interlagos in Brazil. But beyond that, we will be back on Thursday, potentially, for Assist 2 at this very same track in Vietnam. And be sure to stay tuned and tune in for the Saturday race, the final race in Assist 1, the title decider in Brazil on Saturday at 8:30 Eastern. That will be something you will not want to miss. We will have a new set of commentators for you join the league, and hope you enjoy what they can offer leading up at the end of this season and in the next season. Beyond that, we'll be back next week for the final race, non-assists, on Tuesday, and the Season 2 will start September 1st, and actually August 30th. Division 3 will start their Season 2 on August 30th, so keep tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the follow there, Lairst. Sorry I didn't get to you sooner, but really appreciate you taking the time to watch us this Tuesday evening. Thank you for Biggles and Seamus for being in the commentary booth with me today. And take care. Have a great rest of the week, guys. And we'll see you next time.